All right. Don't know about y'all. For some reason, I felt like putting this on today. Just a random Thursday in a potentially fallen season. Panther people, aw, she. What is going on? You're watching Panthers Post. I'm Phil Perkins. Thanks for joining us, and holy crap. Before we get to the crazy, mind-boggling, earth-shattering news, I want to give a shout-out to everybody who tuned in to my last episode after the Panthers, arguably one of their worst, we're getting a long list of worst performances ever in this year, against the New England Patriots. They lost that game. Who cares the score? But misery certainly loves company. I think I might have to change the name of this name to like the Misery Minute or something like that, because my most viewed video ever was the loss against the Giants, and now my most viewed by 2,000 views was the most recent one against the New England Patriots. Over 5,000 views. Thank you so much. Honestly, I am completely humbled here. I do this just for fun. I love the Carolina Panthers. There's so much to talk about with this squad before the vlog. And now with the vlog, I'm talking about it at least twice a day out loud. Talking with you guys in the comment community, a beautiful place to be. You guys make it worth it. You guys make my fandom, shoot through the roof times a million. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. But enough about me. Let's talk about the big news right now. They said it wasn't going to happen. They said it couldn't happen. They said it didn't make sense. It would just be all optics. It wouldn't work. It's a dumb idea. Well, Jonathan Alexander, Jon Alexander from the Charlotte Observer, just shattered our lives right now. I will mention Sheena Quick, who works at Fox 46 in Charlotte, kind of indicated it last night. She sent this tweet yesterday with just the emoji of the arrow and the phone saying that she's working on something. But Cam frickin' Newton. Cameron Jarrell Newton. Ace Boogie. Superman. Mr. Swag King. Mr. The Dab Dad. The vegan warrior. Top hat titan. According to Sheena Quick, she can confirm that Cam Newton is in Charlotte, North Carolina right now. Is he telling LaMelo Ball to get out of his condo? Because at last check, he is paying rent to Cam to stay there while he's playing with the Charlotte Hornets. Is Cam rooming with LaMelo, or is he telling him, get the F out, this is my place? Or is he just renting, a house in our brains right now? Because that's how it feels at the moment. He's renting space in our timelines right now because he is all over the place. My entire Twitter timeline right now is Cam Newton and Remembrance Day. That is it. But according to Sheena Quick and Jonathan Alexander, who had it first, that Cam has been in talks with the Carolina Panther brass for quite some time. Sheena Quick saying they actually started talking to him early this week. So then yesterday, when Coach Matt Rule was asked by reporters, after Matt Rule said that they're going to try everything and anything in terms of their QB situation, after picking up a very underwhelming backup in Matt Barkley, who is rocking Jake Delhomme's number 17, someone asked him, have you reached out to Cam Newton? And he said, you know what, we're going to leave no stone unturned, yada, yada, yada. Imagine what his brain was trying to tell his mouth. Don't say anything. Do not say anything. It's not for you to say that they're talking to Cam Newton right now, because the momentum and the excitement that is built just from these tweets is way more than Matt Rule if he were to just say, yeah, we're talking to Cam Newton. So, hey, if they do sign Cam, I know there's a lot of apologies that need to go around. We need to apologize to Teddy Bridgewater, okay? There needs to be some kind of apology because people were killing this organization. Tepper, Matt Rule, Scott Fitter had nothing to do with the Cam Newton release. He wasn't even part of the organization at that point. But if they do bring in Cam Newton, and it looks like, according to John Ellis, who's a great follow on Twitter as well, that what he's hearing right now, that there is no way that the Panthers aren't signing Cam Newton. One person from the NFC, one of the evaluators there, told John Ellis that the stadium, everyone will go absolutely apeshit if they do not bring in Cam Newton after all this chatter. It's been the last hour right now. But some form of apology would have to be done at some point. From all the hate that has been sent to Matt Rule's way, to David Tepper's way, the fact that how they dealt with Cam, which was not graceful at all. We're seeing photos from Bank of America Stadium commemorating the 2015 NFC Championship game. They got everybody, Greg Olsen, Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis, but they seem to be cropping out Cam Newton himself, the guy who brought them there, the MVP in 2015. So the fact that people just didn't even think, and including myself, didn't think that Matt Rule, who is a very successful coach in the college ranks, not a successful coach in the NFL. One of the first moves he did when he got to the Carolina Panthers was release the most beloved player of all time, would actually have the balls, the flexible pride to put that aside and bring in Cam and admit we made a mistake. We tried to start new, start fresh, have a new chapter, let him go, along with all the other veterans that have the fondest memories of Carolina Panther fans right now. A lot of people thought, including myself, that Matt Rule's just not that guy. And me personally, I thought as a college guy, he wouldn't want someone like Cam, who is a grown-ass man, who is an MVP, been to a Super Bowl, accomplished so much. He doesn't want to deal with a guy like that. He'd rather deal with like a 21, 22, or in Sam Darnold's case, 24-year-old quarterback who hasn't done anything in this league, because that's who Matt Rule is used to. He's used to dealing with college quarterbacks. Cam Newton is the opposite of a college quarterback. He is a professional. He is a businessman. He is a businessman. And so I didn't think Matt Rule would have the stones to say that I made a mistake. I didn't think he would have the moxie. He does have charisma, but would he be able to share a room with Cam Newton? Because they're both alphas in their own right. And so I didn't think it was ever going to happen. But now it looks like, they're putting things aside. They're realizing they made a mistake, which shows a great leader, whether it's on Tepper's side or on Rule's side, to say that, you know what, I made a mistake. I did it wrong. And as I mentioned last week, comparing this to Tottenham Hotspur, who I'm a fan of as well, the owners are in the building when they hear the boos. And the owner of Tottenham Hotspur heard the boos when they lost to Manchester United 3-0 at home. He heard it. He made a move. He fired his coach the next day and then picked up one of the world's best managers hours after that. David Tepper was 100% in the building at Bank of America Stadium when he heard the boos raining down, entering the halftime, and then most of the second half as well. He heard it. And then when you see that Sam Darnold is out, even if Sam Darnold wasn't injured, David Tepper was like, I need to do something. I'm losing the room. You can't lose the room. You've already done so many great things with the team off the field. You got to do some great things on the field as well. So it's a great sign of leadership from Tepper and from Rule if they actually do, when they bring in Cam Newton, that they show that they've made a mistake and they're listening to the fans, and that gives the fans more reason to cheer and feel good about this team and to show up and not give their tickets to opposing fans. Also, potentially shout out to Scott Fitter, who again wasn't in the room when they let Cam Newton go. He's seen Cam Newton play. He was with the Seattle organization and that mini rivalry between the Hawks and the Carolina Panthers. He has seen what Cam Newton can do. And Cam Newton wasn't awful against the New England Patriots. He is definitely a better option than Sam Darnold and P.J. Walker right now. And not only that, the last time Cam Newton was with the team, he was banged up. The TJ Watt shoulder issue, the Liz Frank injury, damn you, Liz Frank, in the third game of the preseason, that hampered him. You would assume he's healthy now. He's double vaxxed, whatever that means, but he feels good. And he feels healthy. He's going to have when he does sign, he's got a healthy Christian McCaffrey. He's got DJ Moore 2 years. He's got a healthy Christian McCaffrey. He's got DJ Moore, who's had 2 very successful years in the NFL. Not slumping right now, but just not getting the service that he deserves. He's got Robbie Anderson, who is that deep threat Ted Ginn Jr. type. And you would assume Robbie Anderson, who we know wants to freaking win, would be revitalized and relieved and just happy to have somebody to show that the team has ambition. They're not trying to organizationally tank right now. They're not going to just march PJ Walker out there and then bring in Sam Darnold when he's off of IR. Robbie Anderson, he could wake up, and then maybe now you have that dual threat quarterback, among the best dual threat quarterbacks ever to play this game. You're going to have to deal with him and Christian McCaffrey and Amir Abdullah, 2 types of running backs that Cam never really had at his disposal. So just checking the Twitter timeline. This is happening in real time, folks. So I'm just checking stuff. So right now, Adam Schefter telling us what we already know. Cam Newton meeting with Carolina. Joe Person says that his sense this is close to being done. We shall see. I don't know who tweeted it. Someone said it, but if it was up to them, Cam would start this Sunday against Arizona. Because, I think he could make it happen. I think he could turn it around. Jeremy Igo, who is one of the biggest Panther fans out there on Twitter, he says a deal could be done this afternoon. Sheena Quick, because she was, you could say she was the first, because through emojis, she was saying it. Cam Newton meeting in Charlotte holds weight. That's what Sheena is saying. He turned down offers from Seattle and Houston earlier this season. Remember when Russell Wilson went down, he's now back. He turned that down because he knew that rivalry was still alive. And then Houston as well. I can't see him playing in Houston. All right, Ian Rappaport saying an hour ago what I kind of just said earlier. Cam Newton is now vaccinated, so if Carolina signs him, and considering the meeting today, there is real interest, he could join the team in practice quickly. He doesn't have to wait, kind of like Amir Abdullah had to do. They play the Cardinals this week, but Ron Rivera's Washington football team next week. Could we have a Cam Newton, Tyler Heineke duo smash? Curtis Samuel might be playing. That'll be a very emotional game at Bank of America Stadium. Kind of like a pre-Ring of Honor type ceremony with Ron Rivera coming home, Cam Newton coming home, Curtis Samuel coming home, Taylor Heineke coming home, Marty Hurney coming home. Oh, that'd be quite the sight. Marty Hurney and Cam Newton saying, hey, what's up? Remember when you asked me to pursue some trades and you're going to release me? Oh, remember that? That'll be quite interesting. But hey, I mean, if you get Cam Newton, he could practice right now. It's Thursday. He can practice Friday. He could practice walkthroughs on Saturday, practice early morning on Sunday, and take on the Arizona Cardinals, who the Panthers have a great record against. And, of course, remember the 2015 NFC Championship game when Cam Newton and the Panthers absolutely obliterated the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, why not? And that would be quite an exciting game. That is, if Kyler Murray, the quarter Korean sensation, were to actually play. That'd be a fun matchup. The new school mobile dual threat quarterback to the old school mobile dual threat quarterback. So New England Patriots, albeit in the AFC East with Cam Newton at the helm, were 7-9. And this is a team that had a bunch of guys not play in the 2020 COVID era season. And now if Cam Newton were the Carolina Panthers offense, which we know, which is what we thought would be the excuse for picking up Sam Darnold, has a plethora of skill position players. A weak-ass O-line in their eighth new combination because... Now, Cam Newton with the New England Patriots last year were 7-9. And this is with a team with a bunch of guys who omitted to play because of COVID-19. So this year, if he were to sign, when he signs with the Carolina Panthers, they have what we've always said they've been having. We thought that making excuses is why Sam Darnold could thrive, because they have a great defense. Now they have a good kicker in Zane Gonzalez, and they got skill position players up the yin-yang. Offensive line that is worthy of an NFL franchise right now, with Matt Paradis out with a torn ACL for the rest of the year. He's done. Cam Irvin out on IR. And so not the greatest offensive line, but if there's one person who could hopefully make the most of a broken pocket and move around a little bit, that's Cam Newton. All assuming his foot is doing all right. But obviously, as we look through the season and after that Giants game, and especially after that New England Patriots game, you're looking through the rest of the season, thinking that, man, can the Panthers really even try to rebound from this? We ran through the schedule after the New York Giants game and the New England Patriots game, and it was really hard to see a W for the rest of the year. Now, they're playing against the 8-1 Arizona Cardinals this Sunday. They may be without Kyler Murray, so that could be a bit of a toss-up, but they still have a defensive line that could definitely eat against our offensive line. But if Cam Newton does play, optimistically speaking, if he could play against the Arizona Cardinals, at least he can give the Panthers a chance. And then after that, against the Washington football team at Bank of America Stadium, you would assume that, oh, man, because they do got Chase and a bunch of guys on the defensive line that, again, could eat up our offensive line. But just the pure emotion of Cam Newton being back. Last time I was Bank of America Stadium, it was against the Seattle Seahawks, which they lost, and Cam Newton was in the luxury box. He was still beaten up. That was the last time I've seen him at Bank of America Stadium. I think a lot of fans, that was the last time they saw him at Bank of America Stadium. And so I think that could be emotional. That could be a dub. And then they played the Miami Dolphins, who've been doo-doo. And then they got a bye week, and then they got that tough stretch that we've been talking about. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers twice, you got the Saints at the Superdome, and then you're at Buffalo, Carolina North, which I am 100% going to, by the way. Going to it. And you would think that the Saints, who now have Trevor Siemian under center and not Cam Newton, they might get Odell Beckham, but what does it matter if you got Trevor Siemian throwing on the ball? That could be a win at the Superdome. I know the Panthers don't have a great record against that, but with Cam Newton under center and in shotgun, whatever, gives them a chance. Against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, he's not fazed by them. You never know. He now gives the Panthers a chance to salvage this season. And so in that case, if that does happen, you would think they add wins. Their draft stock is not as high; it's a bit lower. But then that second and fourth round you sent to the New York Jets for Sam Darnold aren't like late firsts late thirds, so that doesn't look as bad. Cam Newton just lifts everybody. He's not just 6'6", 230, 260, and just a big man. He lifts everything. He touches things, and then they just get better. And he was an elite quarterback. All we need, we mentioned it before, we need a serviceable average quarterback, Andy Dalton, Jared Goff type right now. Next season could be something different. But Cam Newton is average and then some right now. And then just plus the emotional stuff, you never know. Maybe it invigorates him. It gives him new purpose. And he wants to prove not only, the rest of the NFL for not picking him up, but to the guys who let him go only to come back. You would think that he wants to show them, hey, you made a big-ass mistake. That's 1.5 seasons that you could have had me. We could have made something, and we didn't. And so it could be huge. It could be huge for this team. It could also be huge for this team financially. And I know I talked about this. I definitely talked about this after the New York Giants game. Do you want a team that is actually wanting to be good at football, or do you want it to be good at making money? And Cam Newton coming back to the Panthers would be a good money move because obviously fans would come back to the stadium. They wouldn't be selling their tickets as easily to opposition fans. They'd want to show up and watch Cam and Jarrell Newton in person. Imagine if Cam, who is a businessman, right? You got that royalties for selling your jersey. That's why you got to pay for all the jerseys of your old number if you want to change your number. But not a lot of Cam Newton number ones on sale right now because who's he playing for? The New England Patriots. So if he does return to the Carolina Panthers, if I'm Cam and if I'm the Carolina Panthers sales merchandise division, I suggest he revert back to his college days and rock number 2 from Auburn. And you know DJ Moore. I know it's midseason, but DJ Moore could swap it out. DJ Moore won't be wearing number 12 because that's Shi Smith, or maybe there's a trickle-down effect. Shi Smith will wear something else. DJ Moore will wear number 12 again, and then Cam will be number 2. Or Cam could choose a different number. I don't know. Can quarterbacks wear 0? I have no idea. But what could be a great... If Cam changes his number, doesn't matter what it is. Kind of like when MJ came back, maybe Cam could change his number up. Could you imagine how quickly those jerseys would sell out? It would be ridiculous. I know I just copped this Christian McCaffrey jersey. I'd cop a Cam jersey 100%. And then Cam better have in his contract, give me 50% off retail or give me a big chunk of whatever the player likeness and all that stuff because he deserves it. He deserves it. Cam Newton's 32 years old. He's younger than me. He could potentially, if he learns to play right, and I know we were talking about this before under Norm Turner. Remember, he had one of his better seasons when it comes to accuracy and all that stuff because he was asked to do the dink and dunk. He wasn't trying to bomb it down the field. He was being a dink and dunk type of guy, and he could definitely do that now with Christian McCaffrey, Amir Abdullah, DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall Jr., Robbie Anderson. He can do those type of things. Tommy Tremble. He can make that stuff still happen. So he could still be with the Panthers if they want to do the contract. He can definitely sign at least a 2-year deal, and then they could do him right. They could do the fans right by doing what they should have done last time by keeping Cam here. Keep him here. He's not as much of an asshole, this A-type that Cam thinks that teams see him as. At least the Patriots saw him as, that he couldn't be in the same building as that guy who's dirty as... I already forgot his name. I don't even want to talk about the Patriots quarterback right now. Mac Jones. F that guy. Happy hunting season, Cleveland Browns this week. But Cam... Look at the quarterbacks that he has nurtured and guided and been a mentor to, whether it's Deshaun Watson when he was a younger guy, when it was Justin Fields when he was a younger cat as well. Cam Newton is not this A-type me guy as much as people think. From what I'm seeing, I don't know the guy personally, but just from what I've seen, how other quarterbacks, young quarterbacks talk about Cam, he's not out here to stunt their growth a la Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. He's here to lift people, and that's the way I see Cam. So you have a chance to do everything right, team building wise. You keep Cam Newton for a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. I don't know, 2 years plus an option for a third. And then he's on the books. He's your starter. And then in the draft in the first round, you pick up an offensive tackle, offensive guard, center, whatever. And then you trade somebody like a Dante Jackson or A.J. Bouye or someone for a second or third. You package stuff together. You move up a little bit. As we mentioned, this 2022 NFL draft QB class isn't the strongest. Some guys might drop into the second round. So maybe you pick up Sam Howell out of UNC, whose college season this year has been a bit lackluster, a bit disappointing depending on who you talk to, but he's kind of like a dual threat quarterback a la Baker Mayfield. Dual threat minus dual threat, not a dual threat plus. But he can afford to sit down, learn from Cam Newton, Maybe Malik Willis, who had a rough game, three interception game against Ole Miss over the weekend. Panther scouts were there. Maybe he can sit down. He could get drafted in the second round, and he can learn from Cam Newton and how to be a professional on and off the field. Hope y'all appreciate this. It wasn't even impromptu. It was totally scheduled to do a vlog today, but then when this news dropped, I was like, well, scrap the game previews, scrap the Sam Darnold going to IR, scrap the Matt Barkley talk, blah, 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 blah. I was actually going to talk about how Cam Newton wasn't coming, but he's coming. I think he's coming. I trust the sources. You got every reliable source in Charlotte right now and abroad talking about Cam. Seems like it's going to happen. If it does, amazing. And I just hope, compared to my other Misery Loves Company vlogs, I hope this one garners as much attention, as much love as the other ones. Because, hey, this is why we're fans. You're here when it gets low, and you're also here when it gets high and fun. That's what makes sports fun. All right, I appreciate you guys. See you on Sunday. We'll see who's under center. See who gets the dub. We'll see what's up. I appreciate you. See you soon.